Many of us leave Christianity with scars, emotional wounds from fear, guilt, and shame. For years, we're haunted by doctrines that told us we were broken, sinful, and unworthy. When we hear terms like spirituality, it's no wonder some of us fear falling into the same trap. But what if I told you there's a path that doesn't bind you to fear or judgment, but sets you free? Today we'll explore Kemetic spirituality isn't just another religion. It's the antidote to the psychological chains Christianity can leave behind. Hi, I'm Reginald Martin, an ex-Christian and founder of Kemetic-centered living. For many deconverting Christians, leaving the church is just the first step. But even after stepping away, one fear often lingers. What if I end up trapped in another system of control? It's a valid concern. When we hear terms like spirituality or teachings, it's easy to wonder, am I just trading one set of rules for another? Here's where Kemetic spirituality is different. It's not another religion. It's where much of Christianity originated before its principles were altered and turned into dogma. True spiritual systems like Kemetic teachings don't demand worship or obedience. They guide you to understand universal principles and reconnect with your divine power within yourself. Kemeticism isn't the only path to spiritual liberation. There are many roads. But what makes it unique is this. It offers the tools to unravel the fear, control, and externalized dogma that Christianity imposed. Let's break it down. Let's uncover how Christianity took internal truths and turned them into external control, and how Kemetic spirituality empowers you to reclaim them. Section 1. The appropriation. From inward to outward. Did you know that much of what we see in the Bible actually has its roots in Kemetic spirituality? But over time, those teachings were altered and stripped of their original meaning. Ancient Kemet taught universal principles like ma'at, balance, truth, and reciprocity, and concepts like resurrection. These weren't just abstract ideas. They were tools for self-awareness and emotional mastery, designed to help individuals align with their inner divinity and universal laws that govern all existence. When Christianity appropriated these teachings, it externalized them. Resurrection became a literal historical event rather than a multi-layered concept with personal and spiritual meaning. The universal balance symbolized by ma'at became judgment from a wrathful God. By making these teachings rigid and external, Christianity shifted the focus from internal transformation to external control. Suddenly, individuals needed divine favor, clergy approval, and obedience to rigid doctrines to feel validated. This wasn't an accident. This shift created dependency on external systems of authority, hierarchies, clergy, and fear-based obedience. What once empowered individuals to align with universal principles became a tool to maintain control and power over them. The distinction between Christianity as a religion and Kemeticism as a spiritual system becomes even clearer when you examine their focus. As a religion, Christianity relies on external control, doctrines, rituals, and hierarchies designed to enforce obedience. Salvation is presented as something you must earn through external means, following rules, seeking divine approval, and fearing eternal punishment. Fear of hell and guilt over sin keep followers dependent on the system, creating what psychologists call an external locus of control. This system disempowers individuals by making them look outward for validation and purpose. Even the term flock tells you everything. It's about blind obedience, training people to follow rather than think for themselves. Kemetic spirituality, like many spiritual systems, shift the focus inward. It's about transformation from within, becoming self-aware and aligning with universal principles like balance, reciprocity, and truth. Instead of worshiping an external deity, Kemetic teachings remind you that the divine already exists within you. The divine spark or seed is something you nurture through self-reflection and personal growth. In this way, spirituality empowers you to create your reality and reclaim your agency, rather than relying on an external figure for approval and salvation. The core difference? By turning Kemetic teachings outward, Christianity created the system that binds people to fear, guilt, and judgment. Kemetic spirituality, in contrast, frees you to explore your own truth and reconnect with your own inner power. It's not about following someone else's rules. It's about learning to trust yourself and the signals that guide you toward a life of balance and alignment. Section 3. Christianity's psychological impact. But what's the cost of this distortion? The external focus of Christianity doesn't just limit spiritual growth, it leaves deep psychological scars that can last a lifetime. From the moment you're told we're born into sin, the message is clear. You're broken, corrupt, and unworthy on your own. Christianity created the doctrine of original sin to justify the need for an external savior. This idea that you're inherently flawed and incapable of redeeming yourself didn't exist in spiritual systems like Kemeticism, where the focus was on developing the divine spark within. By creating this framework, Christianity externalized salvation, making followers dependent on a system to redeem them from a problem the system itself invented. The result? A constant cycle of guilt, shame, and feelings of inadequacy that destroy self-worth and lead to self-loathing. No matter how much you try, you're always falling short. The fear of hell, judgment, and divine wrath isn't just a tool to keep people compliant, it becomes a mental prison. Even after walking away from Christianity, the fear often lingers. The question haunts you: what if they were right? This fear fuels anxiety, self-doubt, and a paralyzing sense of getting it wrong. When salvation is external, something granted by clergy, a church, or a divine figure, you're never truly free. You're left waiting for permission to be worthy, approval to be enough, and validation to exist without guilt. This isn't spirituality. It's psychological bondage, trapping you in fear and dependency. But there is a path to healing. This is where Kemetic teachings offer freedom and restoration. They allow you to see what the original teachings were before Christianity altered them, helping you to heal on two profound levels. Number one, reclaiming truth. You gain an understanding of the universal principles that Christianity stole and distorted, reconnecting with their empowering and liberating roots. Number two, releasing fear. By unlearning dogma, you can begin to shed the fear, guilt, and anxiety that Christianity implanted, freeing yourself from psychological bondage. Kemetic spirituality isn't about replacing one system with another. It's about helping you rediscover the truth and reclaim your inner power. Section 4. Kemetic spirituality as healing and liberation. Kemetic spirituality was never about fear or dependency. It's about empowerment. It offers liberation not just from external control, but also from the internal conflict that Christianity often creates. Let's start with emotions. Emotional mastery. In Christianity, emotions like desire, anger, or sadness are often framed as obstacles to spiritual growth. Desire is labeled as sinful. Anger is seen as dangerous, and sadness is treated as a lack of faith. This perspective pits you against your own emotional compass, leaving you disconnected from your mental health and physical well-being. Think about it. If you're taught that your desires are sinful and your sadness is a failure to trust God, how are you supposed to process those feelings? The result is suppression. But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They fester. Over time, they manifest as guilt, anxiety, and even physical illness. Kemetic spirituality offers a radically different approach. It teaches that emotions aren't enemies, they're signals. Desire reveals what you value. Sadness invites reflection and healing. Anger is energy asking for direction. Instead of suppressing these feelings, Kemetic teachings encourage you to explore and channel them as tools for growth. Your emotions become allies, guiding you back to alignment with your higher self and the universal principles that govern creation. Recognizing your divine nature. One of the most damaging teachings of Christianity is the idea that you're inherently flawed. The doctrine of original sin teaches that you're broken, corrupt, and unworthy. Without divine intervention, you're doomed. Think about what this does to your sense of self. How can you truly love or believe in yourself when your worldview is built on the belief that you're fundamentally wrong? This creates a cycle of shame, low self-esteem, and dependence on external validation for any sense of worth. Kemetic spirituality offers a completely different perspective. You're not flawed, you're divine. In Kemetic teachings, you're a spark of the infinite, a unique expression of universal energy. You're not here to be saved, you're here to live as a co-creator of your reality. Your worth isn't something you have to prove, it's something you already possess. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Recognizing your divinity inspires you to live in harmony with the world around you. It shifts you from a mindset of fear and guilt to one of empowerment and responsibility. Christianity often emphasizes waiting for salvation, waiting for divine intervention, waiting to be worthy. This passive mindset keeps you trapped, always hoping for something outside yourself to create change. Kemetic spirituality, by contrast, teaches you to align with universal principles to shape your reality. One of the most profound is Ma'at, the cosmic principle of balance, reciprocity, and truth. In practical terms, Ma'at reminds us that our inner world shapes our outer experiences. If your inner world is filled with fear, guilt, and doubt, common legacies of Christianity, that will be reflected in your reality. But when you cultivate your inner world with intention, aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with balance and harmony, your life begins to reflect those qualities. This approach is active, not passive. Instead of waiting for salvation, you take responsibility for your journey. You're not at the mercy of an external force. You're an empowered participant in the unfolding of your life. The emotional and psychological impact of these two systems couldn't be more different. Christianity tells you to reject your desires, suppress your emotions, and view yourself as inherently flawed. Over time, this creates a deep sense of internal conflict, a battle between who you are and who you're told you should be. Kemetic spirituality does the opposite. It invites you to embrace your emotions as guidance, recognize your divinity, and align with universal principles. Instead of conflict, it fosters harmony within yourself and with the world around you. This isn't just a spiritual shift, it's a psychological one. Kemetic spirituality heals the wounds left by dogma, helping you reconnect with your inner compass and live authentically. It's not about waiting and hoping for redemption. It's about realizing you had the power all along. Section 5. Why Kemetic spirituality is not a religion. So, is Kemetic spirituality just another religion? The short answer is no. But let's dive deeper into why. For some, the practices of rituals, altars, and ceremonies of initiation may seem religious. And while these traditions can hold personal meaning, they're not the essence of Kemetic spirituality. The focus isn't on external acts, it's on internal transformation. Kemetic spirituality is about discernment and self-guidance. It's not about following someone else's teachings blindly. Instead, it encourages you to reflect on what resonates with you, find meaning in it, and integrate it into your life. Here's 3 aspects that makes Kemeticism fundamentally different from religion. Number 1, no central authority. There's no clergy or institution dictating what you should believe or how to live your life. In Kemetic spirituality, your journey is self-directed, and you are the ultimate authority over your path. Number 2, no worship or fear. In religion, worship is often tied to fear, appeasing a deity or avoiding punishment. Kemetic spirituality rejects this framework. Symbols like Ma'at and Tehuti aren't gods to be feared or appeased. They're archetypes representing universal principles. Ma'at symbolizes balance, truth, and harmony. Tehuti represents wisdom, reflection, and power of thought. Rather than worshiping something external, you embody these principles, aligning your actions and mindset with them. Number 3, inner transformation, not outer rituals. Salvation isn't something granted by following rules or rituals. It's not external, it's internal. Kemetic spirituality teaches that growth and liberation come from aligning with universal principles through self-awareness, intentional action, and reflection. Everything you need already exists within you. Your role is to uncover it, nurture it, and bring it into alignment with your higher self. Kemetic spirituality is about reclaiming your power, aligning with universal truths, and living authentically. It's not about external worship, it's about mastering your inner world. When you let go of external systems of control, you step into a space of freedom and self-agency. This isn't a new religion, it's a return to the universal principles that have always been within you. Section 6. Reclaiming Kemetic Wisdom. It's time to reclaim what was lost. The wisdom of Kemet wasn't about control, it was about liberation. Christianity turned these universal truths into dogma, but the original teachings remain. You are divine, you are capable, and the power to align with the universe lies within you. Kemetic spirituality isn't about replacing one belief system with another. It's about returning to something older, freer, and truer. It's not about rules or fear. It's about rediscovering your connection to the divine within and aligning with the universal principles that guide us all. This path is one of healing, growth, and reclaiming the inner power you've always had. It teaches you to trust your emotions as guides and to create a life of balance, authenticity, and purpose. If this resonates with you, let me help you take the next step. I've created a free resource to help you on this journey. It's called the Guide to Developing Your Internal Locus of Control with Kemeticism. This guide is designed to gently walk you through the process of shifting from external dependency to an internal locus of control, reconnecting with your power and purpose. Inside the guide, you'll discover how to 1. Recognize your emotions as powerful signals guiding you toward alignment. 2. Reframe fear-based beliefs into empowering ones that reflect your truth. And 3. Align with universal principles like balance, reciprocity, and harmony to create a life that reflects your true potential. The guide isn't a rule book or a rigid plan. It's a starting point. It's a resource to help you connect with your inner compass and begin a life aligned with your highest self. Your path to empowerment begins with a single step. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to download the Guide to Developing Your Internal Locus of Control with Kemeticism below. Thank you for watching and for exploring this journey with me. While there are many ways to connect with universal principles, the Kemetic system offers a unique opportunity to uncover truths hidden beneath dogma. It's not just about deconstructing old beliefs, it's about building something new and authentic, something aligned with who you truly are. If you found value in this video, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from these ideas. Together, we can reclaim the wisdom that has always meant to set us free.